experiences always describe that experience, that sense that they had, the feelings that they had with that, are more real, that makes this reality a whole different situation for them. And it's been documented in many studies that have shown that when people have a near-death experience, it changes their perspective on life, their fear of death, their interpersonal relationships, how they approach their life, how they approach their jobs, their children, their family. So it has very dramatic effects, speaking to the fact that it really felt very real and really had a life-changing consequence for them.
So that when people start talking about the golden rule in the context of the near-death experience, the golden rule is not just a precept for moral conduct, it's the way it works. And you experience this during the life review. And you learn that lesson in a very forcible way as a result of going through this kind of experience. And that's why when people have NDEs, they change as much as they do. Because if you can even imagine what it must be like to go through your entire life and see everything that you've ever done without judgment, but from a kind of almost omniscient point of view with regard to the effects of those actions, and see what your actions do to other people, it's a heavy kind of lesson, and it's something that stays with you, and it informs your conduct for the time after your near-death experience.
Well, I think I've changed in just about every way it's possible to change. Certainly it's a long time, and it has taken a long time for those changes to come about. But I do really attribute those changes to that experience. At the beginning, I didn't tell anybody about the experience. I'd never heard of anybody having one, and it frightened me to think about it in a way. I felt that if I told people, they'd think I was crazy.
Well, I felt that I had been born like a newborn. Everything I'd done up until then, my education, everything I'd learned, was of no help to me, because it didn't take me into that place of feeling the love and the oneness. So I took every class I could find as soon as I was physically able, which took quite a while. I took astrology, yoga, healing, meditation, just anything.
But straight away after it, a lot of things changed already, like small things, like I started to do yoga, and I'd never done that before. And I started to, through the yoga, I started then to become a vegetarian, be interested in that, and that's continued ever since. Those sorts of little things were very big steps for me at that time, because I was just a normal, a stay-at-home housewife with 2 little babies, and I'd never done anything like that before.
When I came back, I literally felt that I had been with God, and there really was nothing else to do with my life except give it to God. I had no really other reason to be alive than to serve God. So I did. I gave my life to Spirit, and it meant for the next 25 years traveling all over the world, living in probably 40 different places. Wherever anybody was asking or needing connection, then I was able to help them.
Also, I just felt I wanted to know more things. I wanted knowledge, and so I started to read voraciously. And even though I'd been a reader in my childhood, I hadn't really been reading all that much in recent years before that experience, but I started reading really very solidly. And I decided that I wanted to go to university, because I'd never been to university, and to learn. I didn't go there, didn't think of going there to get a profession, but to learn more things. I just felt I had to know more things. I didn't know anything.
This happened in 1955.
Yes.
In 1955, the phrase near-death experience didn't exist. Nobody even knew what that meant, what that was.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, here I am, a religious person who has experienced something that would be spiritual, if not religious. My personal problem was that none of my religious experiences were there. I was with the light. There was no judgment, there was no hell, there was no good and bad, there was no big tally in the sky. There was just the light absorbing me and consuming me with unconditional love, in which I was able to consume and absorb everyone else with unconditional love. So that I didn't know what that meant. I didn't understand it. So I spent 20, 25 years like a nomad, roaming the earth, trying to figure out, I don't know what to do. I thought I was crazy.
I knew that I had to figure out, how could I be here without despair? I went to India to spend time with my teacher, Satya Sai Baba. And in that visit, he did clear my mind and sent me back with the understanding that what I had to learn to do was to stop judging everything, everyone, myself. And that's what I've been working on ever since. It is the way that I stay peaceful.
And it's done a couple of things. One is shake my own sense of self from this egoic physical structure that's trying to survive the best it knows how through, a dangerous world, to seeing this incredible matrix and dance of life that this body is part of, and yet that dance of all of life is part of me as well.
I came back with a completely new set of values. All the values I'd had before, all the important things that I seemed to be doing before were just a nonsense. And I was just so glad to be alive and be capable of appreciating what we have here, of sounds and people and colours and flowers and growing things. And it was a fundamentally life-changing experience. And the other big thing is I came back completely without fear of anything, because once you're not afraid of death, there's not much point in being afraid of anything else.
My deep desire is to help others, to serve. This is a very, very common element you see in people going through extreme trauma or near-death experiences, is that they pop out the other side and say, wow, let's go play, let's go help. It's not about my bank account or the size of my house. It's about all of us waking up to more than what we see on the planet right now.
We have in us a divine spark that you can see it. It's a light that shines in the human being. It is our direct access to truth, our direct access to God. And the purpose of all the spiritual practices that exist are to awaken that spark, to give it life, to give it energy, so that it can transform you. And one of the energies that comes from that spark is love. This spark is exceedingly beautiful if you see it within a human being. It is like a sun that is shining, and every human being has it. It is the divine consciousness that is given to humanity as a gift. Human beings, when you see them as they really are unbelievably beautiful. We are made of light. Yes, we have a lot of denseness and a lot of darkness in us, but our real essence is light. Somewhere you see a human being, and what is amazing is when a human being turns towards God, the light in them increases tenfold, increases 100-fold, and they start to radiate in space, and they start to give off light. And that is why a spiritually evolved human being helps the environment and connects also inwardly with other people who are spiritually evolved. It is very, very beautiful.
Oh, Renee, we are so much more than we know that we are here on Earth. That's one of the things I just want people to know so very much, is that we are incredible. We are little pieces of God, in my personal opinion. I just want everybody to know it is a great, big, wonderful, loving universe, or many universes, whatever it is, that we exist in.
There are a number of transformations we see with people who come back from near-death experiences. The most prominent one is that whatever they had been chasing before, whether knowledge or fame or power or money or any of these other things, that when they come back, they say that the most important thing we can do while we're alive is to learn how to love.
You see, every human being has their own unique note to play in the symphony of life. And when it is played, then it makes the most beautiful contribution that nobody else can make. Because each human being is unique. Each human being is a unique creation of the divine. And it is sad when people, for some reason or other, decide not to play that note, to stay in their fears, in their anxieties, in their pettiness, and then a lifetime is wasted.
One of the things I realized during my near-death experience is that we're all connected. I wish everybody knew how connected we all are, how that we're all one. Because if we knew that, I think this world would be a very, very different place. Because it means there's no us and them. There's no you and me. It's all us. It means that we'll actually care for other people in the same way we care for ourselves. It means also that we'll care for ourselves as much as we care for other people.
Don't worry about stuff, just ask. Whatever you need, just ask for it. And remember to tell everybody how important they are to you and how much you love them. Because in the end, that's what you remember, and that's what you take with you.
Yes, there is a level of evolution where you realize the love that is everywhere. This is one of the basic mystical experiences that many, many people on the path have. And you see that everything is made of love. There is nothing other than love. And then, once you have reached that level, you do love everybody because, as a Sufi says, wheresoever you turn, there is the face of God. And when I look at you, I don't just see you, I also see the divine. I see the divine that is in you just as it is in me. And then I can't help but love you.